This is Patricia Huddle, and now we're going to continue with the Flash portion of making the prototype. So I have my Adobe Flash open. This is Flash Professional 2014 CC version, and from the menu for creating my Flash file, I'm going to start with a new ActionScript 3 document. And the files that I'm bringing in have a size of 1024 by 768, so I'm going to change the stage size now to the proper size. And I'm going to choose for the stage viewer the fit in window so that I can see everything. Now I'm going to the File menu and do File Import, and I'm going to choose Import to Stage. And as I said previously, I'm focusing on the quickest method to assemble a prototype, and what I'm showing you is what I believe does work out to be the fastest. These are the ping files that I exported in the last movie. I'm going to say OK. And it places them all on the stage. Now, unfortunately, it did not bring them in the proper order, and I know that because in that file listing, they weren't in numeric order. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm doing Select All with my keyboard command of Command A on the Mac, Control A on the PC, and I'm going to go up to the Modify menu and choose Timeline, sorry about that, and choose Distribute to Layers. And what that's going to do is it's going to take all of the individual files that I imported and put them on individual layers, and you can see that the layer names are maintained. Now I like my layers to be in a particular order. That is, I like them to start at the first one, the first image, and go up. So I'm just going to drag these other layers down in position. And there we go. So I have 1, 2, 3, up through 9. And I do have this extra layer, not worried about that just yet. And now I'm going to make individual frames for each of the images. To make this a little bit easier to see, I'm going to change my timeline viewer to the large preview. That's better. And to expand this across my timeline, I'm going to simply click in the keyframe that's filled in and drag it over one frame. And on the third one, I'm going to click and drag it over. So you can see I'm just moving these, whatever is in that's number 5 is going to be in frame 5. So it's click and drag. Selecting it and just dragging it. I'm not doing anything special, and it always makes an area that's blank, that's normal in Flash. It has to have something to fill in the space. So now, if I scrub the playback head through the frames, I can see the individual pages, and I can see that those text items don't line up, but that's okay for this purpose. Now, if I want to be very precise in how I'm putting this together, I would make a labels layer, and that would be the layer that I would put the names of the individual pages on. So in this first one, I would go up here in my Properties window, and under Label Name, I'll call this Home. And then I would go to the next frame, insert a blank keyframe, and this is my How to Play. So I'm going to choose a name that is descriptive and short, and I typically do use the title for these sort of things. So I'm going to choose how to play. And it doesn't matter what you name your individual frames as long as it makes sense to you and you're going to remember them. I'm going to do insert a blank keyframe here. And make that ready. And you can see that as I'm creating these, what I'm doing is I'm actually clicking in the cell and I'm holding down my control key to bring up the contextual menu and then choosing insert blank keyframe, because I need to have a keyframe to put the label on. And this is my first clue, and I'm going to use this name on the ones that follow, so I just copied that. I'm going to insert a blank keyframe, change that to, this is clue number 2. This is my third one. This is the correct screen. That's what they see when they get the correct answer. Insert another blank keyframe. This is for incorrect. And then the last screen in here is a credit screen. After that, the next thing I'll do is add a layer that I'm going to put my code on, and because I'm going to use the code snippets, I'm going to name it capital A Action Script, and it must be named that if you want to use the built-in code snippets. If you don't, Flash will make its own action script layer. And so now that I have these all in place, I can go in and start making my invisible buttons and adding my code. And I'll do that in the next movie.